So far, we have identified what a business object is, discussed the project architecture, and understood the data modeling approach. We have also identified the source system for our project. With this understanding, we are now ready to move into the practical implementation of our end-to-end project use case. Welcome back to VJ Tech Talk. In today's video, we will focus on the first phase of implementation. Here we go. Here already we identified the source systems in the earlier video. If you haven't watched my previous videos, I would highly recommend you to watch it before continuing with this video. The first phase of our practical implementation, ADF. Okay, now with the help of ADF, we will extract the source files and we will land them into the storage account, our landing zone. Okay, before we begin, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing and don't forget to hit the bell icon to stay updated with my latest videos. Let's get started. You might be wondering, why ADF? Why not any other tool? We'll try to understand basic understanding of ADF. What is ADF? Why we have chosen ADF? Apart from there are many tools are available in the Azure cloud itself. Why we have chosen only ADF? Let's compare with the other integration tools, data integration tools. Here we go. Data Factory is a Microsoft cloud-based data ingestion tool. Everyone knows it, right? Here, why we use Data Factory? Why not any other tool? What is the benefit we are getting from out of this one? Basically, the first part, as I said, that it's a native Azure integration, right? It's a tightly integrated with it's a part of the Azure family, the Data Factory, which means it works seamlessly with all the Azure components because it's part of the Azure. That's the first and primary thing. We have chosen this ecosystem. Now, what else we are getting here? There are 100 plus built-in connectors. Built-in connectors in general, if you are connecting to any source system, on-premises system, private isolated network system, what we have to follow in programmatically, you should use JDBC, ODBC connectors, and you have to implement the connection string to connect to the source systems. But whereas in the ADF, it directly you have a native connectors. Just simply you can pass the credential of that particular source system directly. You can seamlessly you can connect to the source system. That's one of the best advantages. Orchestration. Orchestration basically it time based. Like basically in our scenario we are using Data Factory only for the batch loads. We don't have any other scenarios like streaming or any other scenario. We are concentrated. We are looking into only batch loads. It's a time-based batch loads, daily, hourly, weekly. This is what the orchestration like a dependency management. The dependency management, retry and failure handling, and monitor. We can monitor the dashboard like a failure of the pipeline, and anything breaks off, and we can identify. We can get the we can capture the error messages. Next one, the low code and no code. What is this low code and no code? The low code and no code, it's kind of, you don't need to write any codes. It's a drag and drop mechanism, just drag and drop things and the pipelines, and easily you can write anything like, easily you can implement any scenario with the help of drag and drop, which is good for the team without having a coding skill, that easily they can implement the any scenario, right? What exactly it is capable of? ADF is capable of moving the data from the source systems, and of course it is capable of transforming the data, but there are some concerns, and scheduling the jobs, monitoring the pipeline, trigger the workflow based on your requirement, handling the hybrid scenarios, cloud plus on-premises data scenarios also. It's capable of handling the hybrid scenarios as well. So what are the major disadvantages with the data factory? In simple terms, see, if you look at here, the complex UI for very larger pipelines. If you have a bigger pipelines, it's it's bit tricky. Like if you have a nested loops, if you have a nested loop within a activity and another activity, I will show you these complex scenarios as well in going forward in the upcoming videos. Debugging a bit tricky, and if you are not familiar with the how this is navigating from the how one pipeline is calling to the other pipeline, one activity, how it is involved into the another pipeline, and it is bit tricky in terms of the debugging. But as I said that the transformation also, it is capable of transforming the data, but the only problem is it's a bit expensive compared to the other tools. But transformation, I won't recommend data factory. Only for a batch load, then copy and paste with the help of the copy activity, I would recommend ADF in Azure. Okay, it is, see, it is not best fit for real-time streaming data. Data factory, as I said, we are, in our scenario we are using for batch loads. The next, move on to the, if you compare with the other tools such as Databricks tools, declarative pipelines in Databricks. What is capable of declarative pipeline? As you know that it's the declarative pipelines are capable of, you know, data quality checks and also optimized for the Spark pipelines. But why not instead of ADF? Why we are not using this one, the declarative pipeline? Why we are using ADF? As I said that in our scenario, we are using for, ADF is using for only for batch loads. But the declarative pipeline best fit for the transformations. As I said, the one of the major advantage, right? We have a native connectors in the ADF. If somebody wants to connect to the on-premises or isolated network, directly you have a native connectors. Directly you can connect to the on-premises. You can extract the data and you can load seamlessly. You can load the data into the our Azure cloud systems, right? Now, next, move on to the, just compare to the autoloader. Autoloader, why it is not best fit in our scenario? The autoloader is, it's pretty much, it's a incremental and also streaming job. It's a best fit. But in our scenario is a batch load. As I said, it's a batch load, and it may be we may connect to the on-premises somewhere and the isolated network. And again, we have to write more code in terms of establishing the securities and networks and all this stuff, right? But in, whereas in the ADF, directly you can connect to the local and you can extract and easily, seamlessly, you can land the data into the our ADLS Gen2 storage. It's a great ingestion tool, no doubt about it. Autoloader is a great ingestion tool, but only thing is, like, you know, if for our scenario, the autoloader is not best suitable tool. That's why I have chosen ADF. Let's quickly, I will compare with the open source technologies as well. Here are the features of the ADF. No code, you no need to write any code. Directly you have a UI and enterprise scheduling, and Azure native support is there. And heavy transformations, as I said that heavy transformation, it's limited in ADF. But if you are doing heavy transformation, it supports, but expensive. It's expensive, but streaming is not recommended, ADF, and the best for orchestration. And there is a open source package we have with DLT Hub. It's similar to the declarative pipelines. We have to write the Python coding. We must write the Python coding. This is not recommended for the enterprise scheduling, and also there is no direct support in the Azure native connectors. And heavy transformation, it takes a lot of time in terms of since we have to write the more code, right? So streaming also very limited. And the declarative pipeline, see, there are limitations. As I said that there are limitations. There is no direct UI. Again, here in the declarative pipelines also, you have to write more code and to establish the pipelines, and limited in terms of the enterprise scheduling, and also partially it supports the Azure native connectors. And but as I said that declarative pipeline, especially for heavy transformations, if there is a transformation job, obviously we have to choose the declarative pipeline. Okay, ADF is not recommended for that. Autoloaders are especially for streaming. When you have a streaming jobs, just autoloader is the best fit for that. I hope you understand, you got the basic understanding in which scenario and which time, and based on your use cases, you have to select the tool. Okay, see, each tool it has its own capabilities, each tool it has limitations as well, right? I hope you got this point. With this note, I will move on to the next part of, well, I have logged in with my credentials in the Azure subscription. If you don't have an Azure subscription, you can sign up for free trial using your Gmail, Outlook, or Hotmail account. With a free trial, you will receive the $200 in credits to explore the Azure services. Azure also offers different type of pricing plans, subscription plans such as pay as you go, student, enterprise plans. You can review each option based on your needs. If you still have any questions, feel free to post them in the comment section below. So here I have logged in with my credentials here, vijay.dataforyou@gmail.com, and this is my subscription here, and I have already provisioned couple of resources, Azure resources from the Azure market. And in the next video, I will show you how to provision resources here and how we are preparing our base for our project. As part of our architecture, the first phase is ADF, right? ADF is to it should connect to the source system, should bring the data and land it into the ADF Gen 2. That's what our scenario. In the next video, we're going to implement that scenario step by step. I hope you got some insights from today's video. If you like this video, please leave a thumb. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and see you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.